Let's talk about the Raw after WrestleMania. Some of you may know that the Raw after WrestleMania is known for some big reveals, some big surprises, and also gives us an idea of where we go from here in terms of story after WrestleMania. This was, I would say, probably one of the best Raws in a very long time. It definitely lived up to the hype of Raw after WrestleMania. Kicked off with John Cena coming out as the new 17-time world champion. He let him know that after this run, he's taking the title with him and they will have to get a new title, that he is the last champion. There was a quote from John Cena's promo that I wanted to highlight and kind of touch on real quick. Excuse my language, but he says, quote, "You heartless bastards, you boo him on Friday and cheer him on Friday, then boo on Sunday, and I say his name and the man we all put on your shoulders last year because he finished the story now disgust you? That's what's wrong with this." And I love that he pointed this out because he was vindicated as a heel leading up to WrestleMania and at the WrestleMania match. He said, the people, the fans, we just go along with whatever he says or whatever the person says, and we don't really have any true loyalty. And it was actually highlighted in the lead up where we saw at SmackDown, all of a sudden, everybody was booing Cody Rhodes after supporting him in the build and supporting him as champion. And then we got to WrestleMania, and actually during the match, everybody was cheering for John Cena to win and be the 17-time champion. And Cody was just booed, and the support was pretty much gone. He stressed that today and is just showing the vindication and the proof and the justification of him in this heel run. I thought it was excellent. After that, we had none other than Randy Orton coming in and RKOing our new 17-time champion. I would assume starting a feud with John Cena for the title, which I would think would be happening at Backlash. Nice to see Randy Orton and John Cena go back at it one more time before John Cena calls it quits and retires. Him and Randy Orton get to have kind of a farewell feud. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm sure the promos will be great. Interested to hear what Randy Orton is going to say in response of the things that John Cena has done and said. I am here for it. We also had Liv Morgan and Raquel regain the tag titles. This was an interesting decision. It was kind of confusing. We had Becky Lynch step in for Bayley as Bayley got injured before her match at WrestleMania. They won the titles that night at WrestleMania, only to lose them the night after. I'm glad to see Raquel and Liv regain the titles because I thought they were a better tag team. I think the women's tag division in general is a little weak right now, but they were more of a solid tag team than some of the teams that have been put together prior to them winning the titles. Becky Lynch, though, which was the shocking moment of the night, ends up turning on Lyra Valkyria after they lose the titles, and Becky now appears to be going on a heel run. That'll be interesting to see. I don't want to be controversial. I am not the hugest fan of Becky Lynch. However, I am intrigued to see where she takes this and her reasoning behind doing this, as far as teaming up with Lyra and being supportive of her as Intercontinental champion, but then also essentially screwing her over down the line. Does this mean that Becky's going to go for the Intercontinental title? Is that what she is aiming for, or is there more to it? We will find out. We had the return of Rusev. There had been rumors prior to WrestleMania that perhaps Rusev had re-signed and that he was coming back perhaps at WrestleMania. I predicted that he would be the mystery opponent for Randy Orton. That turned out to be Joe Hendry. Still was awesome, but was curious to see if Rusev would show up. He did show up in a tag segment, which I thought was kind of interesting. I feel like the Raw was so jam-packed that they had to put him somewhere. Still good to see him have his original name, his original look. The music's a little different, but still, for the most part, it's still the Rusev that we have known from the past. So really intrigued to see who they pair him up with down the road, and excited to have him back on WWE. We also had some NXT folks show up. We had Stephanie Vaquer, the NXT champion, come and challenge Io Sky, and they put on an excellent match. Even got the Fight Forever chants, which I feel like I haven't heard those chants in so long, but I felt like it was deserved. Stephanie Vaquer, she's already kind of proven herself outside of WWE before she came in. Then she signed with WWE and has just taken the world by storm and really put on some excellent matches. This, of course, ended with an interruption from Julia, and Roxanne Perez, I guess, shows a heel turn for Julia and kind of furthering her rivalry with Stephanie Vaquer. We also got Rhea Ripley show up and actually help Io Sky as she was being attacked, but it also shows that Rhea Ripley is still interested in going after the title. So we may see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky run it back after their stellar match at WrestleMania. We also got the celebration of Jey Uso as our new World Heavyweight Champion. We had Sami Zayn come out and congratulate him. We also had Jimmy come out and celebrate. However, there seems to be something there with Sami and Jey. Sami was kind of looking, I don't know if anyone caught that, but Sami was kind of looking at Jey a certain way, like, I'm happy for you, but I wonder what it's like to have that title. And perhaps we may see a turn for Sami. I don't know. But that is the vibe that I got. But still, it was nice to see them celebrate. It seems like Jey is pretty well accepted as champion. Awesome to see that, and curious to see who will be his next opponent. Speaking of Jey Uso's opponent at WrestleMania, Gunter, he actually went crazy. Attacked Michael Cole, attacked Pat McAfee, choked him out completely, and was escorted out of the arena. Seems like he has completely lost it since his loss to Jey Uso. Not sure where this goes from here. I'm assuming Pat McAfee will have to take some time away from commentating. Don't know if someone was going to retaliate because of his actions of taking out commentary. Not sure where this goes. But again, an exciting moment to see, and just adds to what was a huge show. Finally, towards the end of the night, we got the surprise reveal that Bron Breakker has now partnered with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, building to what seems to be some new faction. I'm hoping we can get a name and get a mission statement or a reasoning as to why this faction exists. We just had Seth saying that he's in control, that he's controlling everything, which seems to be the case, as he was able to get Paul Heyman on his side, and now Bron Breakker, who is one of the best talents right now, the biggest talents. We've seen some speculation online that perhaps this is turning into a newer evolution type faction, maybe even a corporate type faction. Either way, really intrigued to see how this comes together and where we go from here. That was the Raw after WrestleMania. A huge show, gave us a little idea of where stories are starting to take form and what we can look to see down the road, perhaps to the next PLE, which is Backlash. I thought this did well with kind of sealing little things, building upon what we saw at WrestleMania. It was exciting, it was entertainment, and again, I think it was one of the best Raws that we've had in a very long time. What did you think? What was your highlight of the night? What story or what character are you intrigued that's got you excited to see where it goes? I would love to know. Feel free to reach out in the comments and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you've stuck around this far and you enjoy it, feel free to consider leaving a like. And if you want to stay for the ride, also consider subscribing. This is Tubu's Tube, and we are signing off. Peace out.